For 3 years, my husband lectured me about buying a $40 candle. He made me return a dress I bought for my sister's wedding because it was too expensive. He even suggested I bring lunch from home instead of grabbing a salad with my coworkers because we needed to be more responsible with money. Meanwhile, he had $85,000 in secret gambling debt. Yeah, you heard that right. Let me take you back to where this absolute nightmare started. My name's Sarah, I'm 30 years old, and I work as a marketing manager for a tech company. I met my husband, well, ex-husband now, Jake, when I was 24. He was charming, ambitious, had a good job in sales, and talked about building a future together. We got married when I was 27, and honestly, I thought I'd found my person. Spoiler alert, I had not found my person. From the beginning of our marriage, Jake was really intense about finances. Like, really intense. He suggested we combine our bank accounts to make things easier, and he wanted to be the one to manage our investments and savings because he was better with numbers. Looking back, every single red flag was waving directly in my face. But I was in love and I trusted him. That's what you do when you're married, right? You trust your partner? Wrong. So wrong. Here's how our financial setup worked. We both had our own checking accounts for daily expenses, but we had a joint savings account that we'd each contribute to monthly. I was putting in $1,500 every month. Jake said he was putting in $2,000 because he made slightly more than me. This joint account was supposed to be for our future, a down payment on a house, maybe starting a family, emergency funds, adult stuff. Jake managed all of it because, again, he convinced me he was better at financial strategy. Red flag number 1, ladies, never, and I mean never, let someone else have complete control of money you're contributing to. I don't care if they have a PhD in finance. You get access. You get transparency. Period. But I didn't know that yet. I was still in my trusting wife era. Meanwhile, Jake was constantly on my case about spending. And I'm not talking about crazy spending. I'm talking about normal purchases. I bought a $40 candle from Anthropology because our apartment smelled like the Indian food our neighbor cooked every night. He gave me a lecture about impulse purchases and wanting things we don't need. I got my hair highlighted, something I did every 3 months, and he sighed heavily and asked if I could maybe stretch it to 4 months next time to save money. When my best friend Emily got engaged and I bought a $120 dress for her engagement party, he actually made me return it. He said, "We're trying to save for a house, Sarah. Is looking good at a party more important than our future?" And you know what? I believed him. I thought he was being responsible. I thought he was the mature one, and I was being frivolous. So I returned the dress. I wore something old from my closet. I felt embarrassed and guilty the whole party. That's what financial abuse does, by the way. It makes you feel guilty for existing, for having basic needs, for wanting small joys. So for 2 years, I'm scrimping and saving. I'm bringing sad desk lunches in Tupperware. I'm skipping girls' trips because we can't afford it. I'm buying drugstore makeup instead of my usual Sephora stuff. I'm doing everything right. And Jake's phone is buzzing constantly. He's always stressed. He's getting calls at weird hours that he takes in another room. When I asked about it, he'd say it was work stuff or the guys from his basketball league. Ladies, you know that feeling. That gut feeling that something is off. That feeling that lives in your stomach and keeps you up at night. I had that feeling for months. But every time I brought up concerns, Jake would flip it. "You're being paranoid, Sarah. Why don't you trust me?" This is what they mean when they say marriage is hard. You have to have faith in each other. Classic gaslighting. Making me feel crazy for noticing that things didn't add up. Then, about 4 months ago, something happened that changed everything. I was on my laptop working from home, and I needed to print something for a meeting. Our printer was connected to Jake's laptop because mine was having issues. He'd left for work already, so I grabbed his laptop from his office. It was unlocked. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not the type to snoop. I'd never gone through his phone, his emails, nothing. But his laptop was open, and right there on the screen was his email inbox. And the subject line of the top email said, "Final notice, payment required to avoid legal action." My heart literally stopped. My hands started shaking. I clicked it. It was from a debt collection agency. They were demanding $12,000 for an outstanding credit card bill that was 6 months overdue. $12,000. I sat there staring at the screen, trying to make sense of it. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe it was a scam email. But that gut feeling was screaming now. So I did what I should have done years ago. I looked deeper. I went through his email. And ladies, what I found made me physically nauseous. There were emails from 5 different credit card companies, all with outstanding balances, all with late payment warnings. There were emails from something called DraftKings and FanDuel, sports betting sites. There were emails from online poker platforms, and there were bank statements from our joint savings account, the account that should have had over $80,000 in it by that point, 3 years of both of us contributing, plus interest. Want to know what the balance was? $347. $347. I had to run to the bathroom and throw up. I'm not being dramatic. I literally got sick. Then I did what any woman in 2024 does when her world is falling apart. I took screenshots of everything, every email, every statement, every betting confirmation, every debt collection notice. I sent them all to my personal email and to a cloud storage. Then I cleared the browser history so he wouldn't know I'd seen anything. Because here's what I learned in that moment. When someone has been lying to you for years, you don't confront them until you have all the evidence and a plan. I spent the rest of the day investigating. I checked my credit report. Thankfully, all these credit cards were only in his name. I called our bank and got access to that joint savings account online. Watching the transaction history made me want to scream. Every month, my $1,500 would go in. Sometimes his $2,000 would go in, sometimes less, sometimes nothing. Then, within days, thousands would be transferred out. To betting sites, to pay minimums on credit cards, to cover overdraft fees. My money, my hard-earned money that I'd sacrificed for, was being used to fund his gambling addiction and pay the interest on his terrible decisions. And the whole time he was lecturing me about a freaking candle. I called Emily and I just sobbed. She came over immediately with wine and tissues and just let me fall apart. Then she said something I'll never forget. "Sarah, you're one of the smartest, most capable women I know. Don't let him make you feel small. You have the power here now because you have the truth." She was right. I spent the next week preparing. I consulted with a divorce attorney, just to know my options. I opened a new bank account at a different bank and started redirecting my paychecks there. I gathered every piece of evidence. And then, one Wednesday evening, Jake came home from work, and I was sitting at the kitchen table with printed copies of everything. The look on his face when he saw those papers spread out was almost worth the heartbreak. Almost. He went pale, like literally lost all color in his face. "Sit down. We need to talk." He gave this nervous laugh. "Sarah, what's all this?" "This is $85,000 in debt that you've hidden from me. This is 3 years of my savings that you gambled away. This is you financially abusing me while I ate sad-packed lunches and felt guilty about buying shampoo." He tried to explain. Oh, did he try? It started with denial. "It's not what it looks like." Then minimizing. "It's not that much money. I have it under control." Then blaming. "I've been stressed with work. I needed an outlet. You wouldn't understand." And then, when none of that worked, he tried love bombing. "Baby, I'm so sorry. I have a problem. I know I do. But I love you. I need you. We can fix this together. I'll get help. Please don't give up on us." And here's the thing. A part of me, the part that had loved him for 6 years, wanted to believe him. But the bigger part of me, the part that had been silenced and controlled and made to feel guilty for existing, said absolutely not. "Jake, I've already spoken to a lawyer. I'm filing for divorce. Since the credit cards are in your name only, that's your debt, not mine. The money you stole from our joint account, and yes, stole. My lawyer says I have grounds to pursue, but honestly, I just want you out of my life. You can't be serious. Over money, marriage is about working through problems. This isn't about money. This is about lying. This is about manipulation. This is about you making me feel guilty for a $40 candle while you were throwing away thousands on gambling. This is about broken trust. And trust me, I am dead serious." Ladies, the feeling of saying those words, of standing up for myself after years of being made to feel small, I can't even describe it. I told him he had 2 weeks to move out. I changed the passwords on everything. I called my family and his family. Yes, I told his parents everything because he'd lied to them too. His mom actually called me crying, apologizing for not seeing the signs. His dad offered to help pay me back some of what Jake had stolen. I declined. I didn't want to be tied to that family anymore. The divorce took about 8 months. It wasn't pretty. Jake tried to fight me on splitting our apartment deposit, which was rich considering he'd stolen my life savings. My lawyer ate him for breakfast. We got every penny I was owed. So here's where I am now, 1 year post-divorce. I live in a beautiful one-bedroom apartment that I decorated exactly how I want. There are $40 candles on every surface. It smells amazing. I rebuilt my savings. I have $30,000 saved up now, and it's growing every month because I'm not funding someone else's addiction. I got promoted at work. Turns out when you're not being emotionally drained at home, you have energy for your career. Who knew? I took that girl's trip to Portugal that I'd skipped 3 years ago. Emily and I had the time of our lives. I bought myself the most gorgeous dress for my cousin's wedding, 200, and I didn't feel 1 ounce of guilt. And most importantly, I learned to trust myself again. That gut feeling I ignored for so long, I listen to it now. When something feels off, I investigate. When someone tries to make me feel guilty for having needs, I run. I learned that financial independence isn't just about having money. It's about having control over your own life. It's about not letting anyone make you feel small for taking up space. To any woman out there who's being criticized for normal spending while their partner is hiding things, trust your gut. To anyone who feels guilty for buying basic necessities, that's not normal. That's control. To anyone who's been told they're bad with money by someone who won't show you the full financial picture, that's a red flag the size of Texas. I'm 31 now. I'm single, I'm thriving, and I will never again let someone have complete control over my finances. I will never again shrink myself to make someone else comfortable. Jake, by the way? Last I heard through mutual friends, he's living with his parents and still gambling. He texted me about 6 months ago asking if we could talk about what went wrong. I blocked him. Because here's what I've learned. Some people don't deserve a second of your time, and you don't owe anyone your peace. So that's my story. If it resonates with anyone out there, please check your bank accounts, ask questions, demand transparency. Your money is your security, your freedom, your future. Don't let anyone take that from you. And to the women who are going through something similar right now, you are not crazy. You are not overreacting. Trust yourself. Document everything. Get a lawyer. And know that there is an amazing life waiting for you on the other side of that fear. Life is too short to feel guilty about candles. Trust me on that one. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this story or found it helpful, please like and subscribe. And drop a comment below. I love hearing from you all. What would you have done in my situation? Until next time, remember, trust your gut, protect your peace, and never, ever feel guilty for taking up space.